JJ, welcome back to Breakdown. Today is Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Week 2 is in the books for NCAA football. Let's break it down.
Let's break it down.
JJ, let's start off. First of all, let's talk about week 1.
Week 1.
Week 1. The most watched week 1 football game ever was who versus who?
The most watched game ever.
Week 1.
Of week one. You tell me, who was that?
It was Texas, Ohio State. 18 million.
Yeah, the Heisman Trophy favorite, Arch Man, and he must have came out in guns a-blazing, huh?
Well, that was week 1. We know that Ohio State won that 14-7. But now, let's move on, JJ. Let's talk about week 2. We're talking SEC and Big Ten. Give me the player of the week for week 2. I don't want
for week 2
from the SEC or Big Ten conference. I don't want 2. I want the number 1 player among those 2 conferences for week.
I think there were a lot of standout players, a lot of people that were deserving. A lot of guys stepped up and played really well, but there was only one answer to me, and it's pretty obvious. That would be Dante Moore of Oregon.
My. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm surprised you picked him.
Yeah, he threw for 266 yards on just 21 attempts, 3 touchdowns, no picks, against a Power 4 team. Made him look pretty bad. Mike Gundy, that might people might start asking some questions down there in Stillwater, Oklahoma, about Mike Gundy's future.
You know, Mike Gundy, after last year's 3-8 season, he took a $1 million pay cut.
Oof, and he's still got it. He's still way overpaid. Man, it's the American dream.
Well, I'm going to talk about Dante Moore. You mentioned him, and I won't focus on this long. But I'm going to read you a quote that he said. This is what he said, quote, "When you attack our head coach, it's like you're attacking my dad. When you're attacking a family member, for him to attack Phil Knight and attack Coach Landing and attack the team was personal. We were going to keep the foot on the neck and make sure we score these points and try to break the scoreboard." That's what Dante Moore said about Mike Gundy. What do you think about that? Did they take it personal?
I think the quarterback just said that they took it personal. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and agree with him.
A final score of 70-0.
I thought it was like 68-3 or 69.
I'm sorry, 69-3. 69-3. 70-0 was the Ohio State Grammar, but
yeah, I mean, they took it very personal. Phil Knight is obviously their benefactor.
Did what Mike Gundy say, was it as bad as Dante Moore thought it was?
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was. I think his coach Dan Lanning responded to it exactly the way you should. But I mean, Mike Lanning knew he was going to get killed, and he wanted the boosters and everybody in his.
Just to set it up, though, he was talking about the money, the NIL money that Oregon is paying their players, and how they were talking about Dante Moore possibly being the best ever at Oregon, and he talking about how much they're going to pay him a whole lot of money next year to keep him. Now they kind of took that pretty badly, and they made sure Mike Gundy is aware that Oregon is the real deal.
Yeah, Mike Gundy used to have a wealthy benefactor, an oil and gas man, T-Boone Pickens.
T-Boone.
He is no longer with us, so Oklahoma State has not really been relevant since. I wonder if there's been a connection.
We mentioned the score in the Oregon Oklahoma State game, 69-3. There were some other scores that were over 60. I just want to mention really quick.
Yeah.
Alabama 70-0 against ULM,
which is Louisiana Monroe,
right? And Tennessee,
which Nick Saban lost to. So there was a little bit of a revenge factor there.
Tennessee 72-17 against East Tennessee State. And then the Big Ten had 5 teams, JD, to score over 60 points. Minnesota, Nebraska, Ohio State, Oregon, and Washington. All of them over 60 points. Minnesota 60-0 over Northwest State.
Which is in Louisiana for those wondering.
Nebraska 68-0 over Akron. Ohio State 70-0 over Grambling. We mentioned Oregon 69-3
over Oklahoma State.
And the last one, Washington 70-10 over UC Davidson. They lined up the scoreboard in the Big Ten, JJ.
Yeah, I mean, they're everyone has a brand new offense, brand new rosters. They have to work them in, get prepared because, the Big Ten last year sent 4 teams to the college playoff. Indiana was one of them. So if Indiana can go, any of them can go. So I think it's wide open. Not for who can win the conference. I think that's narrowed down to a few different teams. But as far as who can make it to the playoff, it's wide open, and you want to get as much reps as possible. You want to break in. You got new quarterbacks at Oregon, Dante Moore. Nebraska has a new wide receiver, Dane Key. He's getting $1 million. Paid him to leave Lexington, Kentucky. You got to break in these passing games.
Okay.
And as great as practices are, as great as scrimmages are, the only way to do that is in the games.
Most likely, though, JJ.
That's what these checks are for.
Most likely, though, JJ, the quarterback you breaking in is not in the game halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, and it's a very possibility that the quarterback that you're breaking in now won't be healthy at some point in the season. So you need other people to get reps as well. I mean, I think the entire team.
Well, we'll see how that stands out when the caliber of competition steps up a little bit. But JJ, one thing that happened last Thursday, the NCAA Football Oversight Committee, they voted to support a single transfer portal window in January for 10 days. Currently, there are 2 transfer portal windows, one in December lasting 20 days and one in April lasting 10 days. What do you think about the change? And the change isn't final. It's just the Oversight Committee we voted. It has to get approved completely through the process. But what do you think of the vote?
I mean, I'm not surprised. I think that they want to regulate this as quickly as possible, as much as they can. It's kind of the Wild West out there, and they're trying to get that done.
I like it because I am totally opposed to a transfer window in April with teams potentially losing key players, numerous players, so late in the season. And the recruiting period is pretty much done for. It's over by then.
Well, I think that they should try to get those players to agree to a collective bargaining agreement if they want those type of regulations. Independent of that, I don't really know what we're talking about. Well, but that's me.
I just think it's not fair to the school. 2 years ago, I think Michigan State lost 18 players after spring training.
And the previous arrangement was not fair to the players. So.
And what about the current arrangement?
It's a lot more equitable for the school and the players, in my opinion.
Okay. So you sound like you don't like the proposal.
It sounds like I'm a capitalist that believes in free economy. I don't know.
You know what Karl Marx said about capitalism, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was being facetious, by the way.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, Karl Marx, he said a capitalist will sell you the rope that you're going to use to hang yourself with.
Oh yeah, they will.
Okay.
Why? That's an opportunity. Why would you not?
Okay. So let's talk about some football.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's talk about week 2.
Week 2.
There were some games. Let's talk about the Big Ten game. Okay. Michigan, Oklahoma.
Michigan, Oklahoma, Big Ten SEC matchup. SEC won that one. Their rivals linked up the week before, Texas and Ohio State, and the Big Ten won that one. I mean, Michigan, Bryce Underwood was under siege. He just turned 18 a couple of weeks ago. It was his second career start on the road in Norman, Oklahoma against Brent Venables. And what we thought might happen is what happened. He looked pretty bad. Michigan's receiving core looked pretty pedestrian. They got the transfer in from, was it Indiana, the number 1. He's their best receiver, but I think he's more of a number 2 than number 1, and I think it trickles down. Samaj Morgan got what looked to me like he got concussed early in the game, but he went to the blue tent, but he went back out there and didn't really impact the game that much. But I thought it was important for him to get going. But I think the biggest reason Michigan couldn't do anything is they were without their best offensive player, Marlon Klein, tight end, 6'6" out of Germany, captain. He was hurt and did not play. He not only impacts the passing game as their best pass catching threat, he is a very good blocker. He's not Colston Loveland. He is a blocking tight end that can catch the ball as well. So I think, just without him there, 4-year senior captain, I think you needed that leadership for an 18-year-old true freshman in Norman, Oklahoma on his first road start. What do you say?
So I'm going to ask you a question. So without overreacting to a loss that Michigan took on the road, should Michigan be concerned about their offensive line? What's their biggest concern going forward?
I think the biggest concern going forward would be their offensive line. I would say that would be the biggest issue. They were able to get a little bit more pressure in the second half. They were on defense. The defensive line was a concern. We talked about that previous episode, but I think that they can generate a little bit more pressure. The offensive line, I think the biggest concerns to me are the offensive line, the defensive line, and the receiving corps. I don't know if you can do anything about the receiving corps. The thing about the offensive line is they can gel over time, and they can, you can use synergy, and you can be, better than the parts. It's a unit, kind of like the secondary in defense, where you have to be connected to one another, and you have to know what the guy next to you is doing at all times, and you can increase chemistry and do all types of stuff to develop that. So I think that's what I would be focusing on if I was Michigan, because the receiving corps, I would try to keep Marlon Klein healthy.
Is Michigan going to be a force in the Big Ten this year?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think USC looked really good in the Big Ten. Illinois is the top 10 team. Indiana is a top 25 team. They look like they're back. You have Penn State. You have Ohio State. You have Oregon. Oregon looks like they're a wagon. The Big Ten is deep. The Big Ten to me, I think, is better than SEC.
You missed one.
What's the I miss?
Michigan State.
Oh, yeah. Michigan State is also in the Big Ten. They are a team that is in the Big Ten.
Beat Boston College last year.
Last week, yeah, they did beat Boston College.
I'm not sure teams are going to fear Michigan this year.
They don't need to fear them to lose them.
Okay, JJ.
I do think Michigan's defense looked very good, and I do think Brent Venables is the best defensive coordinator that Michigan will face. I don't think that will necessarily be the best defense that they face. I think there might be a team down there in Columbus with a better defense, but it's one of the two best defenses that Michigan will have faced.
Okay, you don't think Ohio State defensive coordinator, ex-head coach for
Matt Patricia?
Yeah, head coach for the Detroit Lions, defensive coordinator for New England.
And also offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots one year.
That's true. You don't think he is better?
You don't think he's what?
Better than Oklahoma's defensive coordinator?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, JJ, that was another game. There's only one other game in the Big Ten that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Michigan State, but we'll move on to that because we know the Green is doing their thing this year. I want to talk about Grambling and at Ohio State.
SWAC. Go SWAC.
I heard, JJ, that Grambling turned it out.
Oh, really?
Their band put on a show that the world, Columbus, will never be the same.
And that's funny because Ohio State calls themselves the best damn band in the land, but were they the second best band that day?
Hey, Grambling, do your thing. Power to you, people. Power to you, Grambling. They put on the show, JJ. But let's go to the SEC, JJ. Last week in the SEC. That was a couple of games. Some games that we looked at, and we're going to break, but we looked at the Florida USF game. You and I, before we got started, we talked about that. And we're going to talk about these games, but the Kentucky and Ole Miss game, Kansas, Missouri game.
Border War. First time played since Missouri left the Big 12.
We already talked about the Oklahoma-Michigan game. We also talked about the Vandy Tech game. Tech lost back-to-back SEC teams.
Their coach better. He might as well start looking for Brazillo. Put his house on for sale right now.
But the game I want to talk about right now, JJ, Mississippi State, Arizona State. What's your take on that game?
Man,
and we know Arizona State lost to Mississippi State. Mississippi State projected to be the worst team in the SEC this year.
they were the worst team in the SEC last year.
Yeah, and they won 24-20.
They did win.
Over a ranked Arizona State team. The Arizona State made it to the playoff last year.
They did. They made it to the playoffs last year. They lost a couple of players, but they returned a lot on the receiving end. But
the quarterback came back too.
The quarterback,
ex-Michigan State quarterback.
He's a top 15 draft pick on a whole lot of NFL draft boards.
I think he might have hurt himself a lot.
His stock went down a little bit after his performance in Starkville. Yeah, Mississippi State went up 17-0 in the first half. They looked like they were going to cruise onto and win. They were just disrupting Arizona State. I mean, Mississippi State's D-line was living in the backfield, getting after Sam Levitt, making him scramble, making him leave the pocket. And he was just not connecting on targets downfield. But Arizona State rallied. They came back. They kicked the field goal right before half to cut it to 14. And then things narrowed up. Obviously, it got to the point where Mississippi State looked like they were trying to give it away, but they persevered and they won 24-20. It was amazing to me. I watched that game. I couldn't listen to that game. It's amazing to me that they let Mississippi State use those cowbells all game long.
You're right.
It doesn't and I'm not sure there's supposed to be a rule where you're supposed to stop it when they break the huddle
when
or
the center puts in the ball.
Center puts in the ball. They were not stopping it. No. They did. I mean, they would stop it after the ball was snapped, and a few seconds went by is when they would stop it. But yeah, it was just. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give Sam Levitt a mulligan, but I want to see what he does in a normal stadium with normal rules where they don't allow that type of insanity.
I wonder. That's my own person. I wonder. Did they change the rule? Because I know in the past the cowbell ringing had to stop when the center touched the ball, and that was not happening last week. So I don't know. Maybe that's been a rule change at Mississippi State. I don't know.
They went 40 years without the cowbell. They brought it back in 2010?
In that neighborhood, I think it was 2010.
They stopped doing it in 72 or something. You didn't need to bring it back.
But the game itself, the first half. Mississippi State did not look like the Mississippi State that I've known.
No, they did not. Jeff Lebby's offense looked pretty good. I would say looked very good.
Okay. Well, JJ, that was last week. Two games we talked about last week: the Michigan, Oklahoma, and the Mississippi State, Arizona State. Let's look at some games this week, and we're gonna, if you need to touch up on last week, that's fine. But the only Big Ten game this week, JJ, to me that's worth talking about for us is Wisconsin at Alabama. That's a Big Ten SEC matchup.
Yeah.
What's your take on that game?
Well, Wisconsin still cannot pass the ball. So Alabama looked like they had to exercise some demons against Louisiana Monroe last week. Ty Simpson looked great. He looked much better. But, they had just lost to a team that they were favored to beat by 15 points the week before. So, I think that this is very important for both coaches. I think both coaches are on the hot seat. I think it might be a little hotter in Alabama just because of their expectations.
A lot hotter.
A lot hotter. Wisconsinites are a little bit more laid back, but that Luke Fickell has not done what he did at Cincinnati. He has not come close to it.
Wisconsin's only given up one touchdown in 2 games this year.
Okay, and
they've given up 10 points, and that was all last week against Middle Tennessee State.
But now they play a real team.
Okay,
so let's see what happens.
They definitely play a real team. Alabama, JJ, a humongous bounce back, scoring 70 points last week versus the first game. Is Alabama as bad as they looked in the first game?
No, I think it's hard. It's hard to judge a team by the first game.
Okay,
it's in general. You're breaking in a new quarterback. You're breaking in a whole new players.
Okay.
I still don't think that they should have lost that game. But
okay,
yeah.
Let's continue with the SEC, JJ. This week's game coming up. To me, there are quite a few games that I'm interested in. Arkansas, Mississippi, the team that's getting no respect in the SEC, JJ. Arkansas is 2-0. They have 10 games remaining. All 10 of their opponents, JJ, all 10 of their remaining opponents are in the top 25, or else they're getting other votes outside the top 25.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi didn't look like Giants killers against Kentucky last week. The spread in that game started, I think, Mississippi was like double-digit favorites. Now it's down to 7. And the Heisman Trophy winner for this year were number 10 for Arkansas, Taylor Green.
Mm.
So what's your take on that game?
I'm gonna take on the game Ole Miss should have never been double-digit favorites. They didn't even beat Kentucky by double digits. I know it was at Kentucky, but I just Kentucky had opportunities to win that game, and Austin Simmons looked bad. He didn't.
He did. The quarterback for Ole Miss he didn't look good. He's a lefty.
Great baseball player.
Had 2 interceptions.
Yeah,
threw 2 interceptions.
He did.
They might need to use their backup from Ferris State, JJ.
Yeah, he was in as a running threat, and I guarantee that they will utilize him. But it's a game of no defense on either side.
Yeah.
Ole Miss can't guard a light post, and Arkansas might as well be turnstiles on defense.
Take the over.
Take the over.
Okay. So what about to me the biggest game of this week between the SEC, the Big Ten schools, Texas A&M at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like games overall, so that's the biggest game of the week. There's a lot of questions that has to be asked. Can Texas A&M stop the run? They haven't really shown the propensity to do that. We know that they can run the ball. They have a great offensive line.
And, they've given up 24 and 22 points against UT San Antonio and Utah State. Not the biggest high-powered offense. They've given up the points.
Yeah. Their defense has not stood out.
Last year, Notre Dame went into College Station and put a whooping on Texas A&M.
They did.
How you got this game ending up?
Yeah, I mean it's a completely different team. Marcel Reed is the starting quarterback
for A&M.
Yeah, he's entrenched as a starter. They have a new receiving core. They got a couple of transfers. Casey Concepcion out of North Carolina State. I think he was the number 1 receiver in the transfer portal. He's only the number 1 or number 2, and then they got Craver too. They've been throwing the ball a lot more. Notre Dame, it's going to be C.J. Carr's second start. He's going to be in a similar situation that Bryce Underwood was in, going into the belly of the beast. Second start as I guess he's not a true freshman. I guess he's a redshirt freshman.
And he's going to be at home as well.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, will he have a bounce back game? Notre Dame was ranked 117th in Division I FBS and expected play per dropback, which there's only 133 teams, so that's not good. Texas A&M doesn't have to blitz that much to get pressure, but because what I just saw happen to Bryce Underwood, I'm thinking they might blitz just because they know that they can confuse a young quarterback in his second career start. So I don't know. I would expect that to be. I expect Texas A&M to do pretty well.
I expect this to be a good game. Miami kind of exposed Notre Dame in week 1 when they defeated Notre Dame. I don't think either team is as good as they were as either team was last year.
You don't think Texas A&M or
Notre Dame?
Texas A&M did lose Shamar Stewart to my Cincinnati Bengals in the first round draft pick. Finally got him signed. But I think on offensively, Texas A&M is better. I think I like the receiving core. I think that makes them a lot more dynamic.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that's it. I think offensively they're better.
I tell you, Notre Dame, they better win this game, or else they're going to end up losing 2 games to SEC teams this year. Because on the 27th of September, they have to go to Fayetteville. So this is their chance to beat an SEC team. Take advantage because you're at home, Notre Dame. So what about Vandy at South Carolina?
Yeah, Vandy, South Carolina,
Vandy's still doing their thing, man.
Yeah, they got off to a slow start last week. And then in the second half, they came back with a vengeance.
Yes, they did. They did.
I think they scored like 30-some unanswered points. Diego Pavia looked pretty good. They looked a lot better than I expected, and South Carolina has not looked as good as I expected.
Same here. You and I are on the exact same page. South Carolina quarterback looked really good in week 1 against
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he did not look that good to me last week against South Carolina State.
It's funny.
They won 38-10 against South Carolina State.
Yeah. And these teams both played Virginia Tech, but
That's true. And both of them beat Virginia Tech.
Yeah, but Vanderbilt did it in much more impressive fashion at Virginia Tech.
Agreed.
Not a neutral in Atlanta. South Carolina can't run the ball. I think the offensive line is a part of it, but I think they missed Rocket Sanders. He was a big, powerful back. I think that added an element to it.
Yeah, and I forgot he's playing in the pros right now, Rocket Sanders.
Also, South Carolina, defensively, they're without 2 of their better defensive backs, so they're forced to play their backup corners. If I'm Vandy, I'd run the ball a lot. I'd run at their corners a lot in the first half, knowing that they're very thin. See if they want to step up and make a tackle.
Okay.
Because if more of them get hurt, that'll just break the game wide open.
Okay, JJ, 2 more games we're going to talk about before we get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Florida at LSU. Florida got stomped, and they only lost by 2 points, 1 point. But
yeah, at home in the swamp, Billy Napier on the hot seat again. The inferno, the blazing.
LSU and Florida.
Yeah.
Give me your take on it.
Man, LSU's offensive line looked terrible. Their offense didn't look good in general, but their offensive line looked very bad. You can tell that they lost 2 first rounders or 2 first or top of the draft offensive linemen. One guy that went in the top 5. They were just exposed against Clemson.
Clemson
and La Tech.
And La Tech, I mean, they only scored 23 points against La Tech.
Yeah.
They only scored 17 points against Clemson. Their offense has been kind of stuck in the mud, man.
Yeah. I agree. Like, it's funny that their defense is carrying their calling card for them. Now, conversely, Florida has a terrible defense. Their D-line can't get any pressure.
But at the same token,
when they're not spitting in people's faces.
Florida that caused them to lose that game last week.
Yeah.
Spitting it, why are people doing so much spitting in football this year, JJ?
I don't know. It's not baseball.
Where you got winning that game?
I got LSU winning there. I think they're the better team. But Florida needs it more.
LSU is at home. I do think Florida needs it more. I don't think they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly needs it a lot too. Brian Kelly,
he does need it.
He can't lose the game he's supposed to win.
No.
If he starts losing the game he's supposed to win, his seat's going to get hot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So let's finish up with Georgia and Tennessee.
Georgia versus Tennessee. Gunnar Stockton versus Joey Aguilar. Everybody thought was going to happen coming into the season.
Joey. Both teams got new quarterbacks.
Yeah, both teams got new quarterbacks.
Who has the better quarterback?
Who has the better quarterback? Well, right now it's looking like Joey Aguilar, but he hasn't had an actual test. We thought Syracuse was decent because they won 10 games last year, but they are not decent. They needed overtime just to beat UConn, and UConn is bad. So we really don't know anything about Joey Aguilar right now.
Well, Georgia hasn't been tested. Marshall and Austin Peay.
But Gunnar Stockton does not look good. Georgia upgraded, quote unquote, their receiving core. They got some transfers to come in. But
Tennessee has been putting up points.
They have been putting up points. That's for
East
sure.
Tennessee State 72.
Yeah.
Syracuse 45.
They've been putting up some points, but they're going to be playing Georgia, so that's a little bit different of a defense to be putting up points against.
Yeah, and that's at Tennessee though.
It is, but
I think
defensive travel.
To me, the SEC has a lot of parity in it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pick a winner, for me to pick a winner in that game. But if I had to pick a winner,
If you had to,
I would pick Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, that's brave. I'm going to still go with Kirby Smart in Georgia,
Okay.
but,
Georgia only lost 5 games in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the best coach in the conference at this point in time.
Okay. JJ, what did we leave out? I know we left out a lot, but we can't cover everything. So what did we leave out that we should cover?
think we covered pretty much everything that we need to.
Well, it's time for me to say that one word. WPS. Woo Pig Suey. I can't count.
1-0. 1 down, 16 more to go. Who that?